G'day everyone, welcome back to Bulldust and Bulldust. We're here on the Shining GeForce 2000 Kato built by Noosa Marine, and I'm here today with Ben Kelly from North Sails. Hey Benny.
Hey mate.
We're going to put you in the captain's chair and have a chat.
Awesome.
G'day everyone and welcome back to Season 3 of Bulwarks and Bulldust. This week I'm very excited to have one of my best mates and the North Sails Pacific multi-hull specialist, Ben Kelly, on board and in the captain's chair from Multi Designs. G'day Benny.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
No worries. Look, there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on in the world of sailing, and you've been at the forefront of a lot of the multi-hull stuff going on in Australasia. Talk to us about Hamo. You just come off a pretty successful program with the Slingshot, the Gunboat 68.
Yeah, look, I'm really lucky to get involved. North Sails has had a long-standing career with this boat. It's an ex-Highland Fling. It's a pretty high-end boat for anyone who knows gunboats. It's a reasonably pro syndicate, and it's being run really well. And we went to Hamo with the boat. It's only done a few races. It's just recently got rated for Orma, so it can compete in those divisions against the other sort of prime boats in the multi-hull fleet. And we went there with a lot of learning to do. We went there with a great boat that loves a bit of breeze. And of course, we got no breeze.
We got no breeze.
You know, but it was still an amazing week. It's got to be one of the best events worldwide, and you know, it's just so beautiful racing around those islands, throw in all the whales and everything, then on a boat that looks that good. I've got to say I had a pretty good time.
Yeah. And what's the plan for the boat now? Any ideas?
It's a bit of a moving target. The owner has a big family of sailing kids. It's a lot of it's got to do with what the kids enjoy and want to get out of it. It could easily end up cruising the Pacific, or it could end up doing some of the best races that are on offer around here. So, you know, for me, I'd love to see it doing Coastal Classics, Gladstones, you know, Round Umea, all these sorts of races, but we'll see. You know, it's a different program, and it's at the top end of multi-hull sailing, these boats and this sort of program, so I just was stoked to be involved.
You and I have worked on a lot of multi-hull projects together over the years, 23 years that we've been working together. And it is pretty epic, boats like the Gunboat 68 coming to Australia, and these are boats that are capable of cruising anywhere comfortably, but also racing at a fairly high level.
Yeah, it's the top of the pile in terms of premier cruise. Most of these boats have captains and crew aboard, and you know, basically they do events all around the world. And the 68's one of my favourite with the Gunboat range. But yeah, glamour boat. And it can do everything really.
And we've just seen the Irons Trimaran, the ex-Carbon 3, turn up in Brisbane. You've been pretty heavily involved in that project. It's always been a favourite boat of yours.
I can't help but I can't help but be excited. You know, these thoroughbred race boats. You know, back in the day we used to have Australian sailing centrefold boats on our walls. You know, and that's the sort of boat that for me is a bucket list amazing boat. It's awesome to have it here, and it's had, you know, a rejig here at Boatworks, Jamie Morris and ACM, and we've done new sails. Rope Solutions has done a lot of work on the rigging and systems, and it's ready to go. And the owner's keen to sort of see what he can do with it and evolve it into an inshore, semi-offshore race boat.
And pretty experienced owner, so he's come straight from the Extreme 40?
Yeah, so the owner had an Extreme 40, one of the sort of 4 or 5 we had over the last sort of 7 or 8 years. He had a great time in that, but he's a Trimaran man, and you know, he couldn't ignore this boat when it was up for sale, and it's a bit of a project. And I think, you know, there's a lot to learn. It's a more complex boat, but the range of options to use it are a little greater than the Extreme, which is quite limited. So
over the last 6 or 7 years, we've seen a big rejig in the Australian multi-hull fleet, where we've gone from having iconic boats like Flat Chat, that were built out of balsa, carbon skins, and now we're seeing these really epic tier 1 boats that are designed and built by fully professional teams or fully professional outfits coming to Australia. It's been a bit of a change.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change, but at the same time, I don't want to discount the Aussie boats. You know, we'll touch on it, but we've got some awesome boats here as well, and the Farriers and Grangers and all these boats that we have also always been pretty good in the multi-hull fleet. But you can't deny, pre-preg boats that are built to the highest standards. They're always good designers. You can't beat them. And the Extreme 40 is an amazing boat. A lot of people say it's outdated, but in a world of foiling and everything like that, it's still a very good boat on any racetrack. It's amazing upwind, downwind VMG, and it's that last sort of step before foiling boats. And on the right day, be one of the quickest boats you could ever have. So.
We won't talk too much about monohulls today, but obviously we're a couple of weeks away from defending our state championship on Black Diamond. And then the week after Black Diamond, Sail Paradise Regatta, you're off to Malta for the Middle Sea race on the Rapido Trimaran, yeah?
Yeah, I've been involved with the Rapido Trimarans through North Sails for about 3 years now, and I've been lucky enough to be sort of the head guy with their sail development work, and I'm tied in with the Rapido 53 XS Picamole, an Italian owner and a mainly Italian team. And that's got some challenges because I'm hopeless at Italian, even though I wish I was really good at it. But basically, through the process, these guys have got me over to Sardinia recently with a bit of new sail development and test sailing, and we gelled pretty well. And they said, come do the Middle Sea race and we'll see what else we can find to do. So it's a bucket list race, that ford at the start. I've looked at all the pictures. I can't wait to have a go. I always enjoy getting in with a new team of people, seeing what we can sort of achieve and get out of a boat. And, that really sums up what I love about multi-hull sailing. 5, 6, 7 guys and girls and just have a red hot go in a beautiful part of the world.
Well, multi-hull sailing's taking you all around the world right now, but of course you're a local. You're from here, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy for me actually. I've been coming to the boatworks a lot in the last 10 years, but this little patch of water behind us here, this estuary and all the other ones, I've spent a lot of time here. I grew up just on Santa Barbara on the other side on Hope Island. I went to Coomera Primary School just down the end of the road here. This was cane fields. This was where we ran our cross country, went fishing, so it's a pretty special part of the world for me. And to get involved with Tony Longhurst and his various boats, he had an Extreme 40 as well, sail with him, work with them, have all the trades that we work with here and all the various projects that have come through this yard in the last 5 to 10 years. It's amazing for me, and it's pretty easy to think back to an awesome childhood spent just down the road.
Yeah, we very much appreciate the continued hospitality here at the Boatworks. They've been our spiritual home ever since season 1. So we do love coming here, and it is still mind-blowing to see where this place has come from.
Oh, and it just doesn't seem to stop, which there's got to be an end. But, I get to cross paths with people coming into the country who are on fairly high-level programs, and they just can't talk highly enough because this is a premier location and it offers everything, And one of my favourites is the liverboard facility, and the multi-hull couples that are down there having barbecues at sunset and working on their boats. It's just catering for everything, and that's really what I like to see. And, congratulations to them, really.
This is a quick ad break. And we're back.
Well, I guess that sort of building on that historical factor, if we go back to Trilogy, there's multiple back-to-back national wins there. Can we talk Trilogy for a second, please, Ben?
Yeah, if you go back to maybe when I was about 20, I'd grown up sailing skiffs and dinghies, and my dad was a bit of a beach cat guy, and I got an opportunity to jump on Trilogy at up at Gloucester near Bowen. There was a rendezvous regatta. It was an OMR rated regatta, and they needed someone. So I got on board. I hadn't used a winch much. I hadn't sailed a boat bigger than about 5 or 6 metres, and I gelled with the owner and the crew. I became the bowman, and very quickly from there we travelled around the country doing lots of great events. The boat's been everywhere, from your Lincoln weeks to your Geelong weeks, and regattas on Lake Macquarie, Pittwater, Airlie Beach, Bowen, down here in the bay. It was a really important boat for me to sort of trigger or kick off my multi-hull career, and it was the pivotal moment that I really went on this trajectory to stick with the multi-hull thing, because I really enjoyed it.
And obviously it was incredibly successful as well.
Yeah, the boat has got to be the most successful Australian multi-hull in our sort of OMR racing sector. Of all time, I think it's at least 7 national titles with that boat. A lot of great crew. We had Nicholson's, Julian Bethwaite, Harry Bethwaite sailed on board. We had various Olympians. David Witt even come sailing with us. I really got to meet some really red-hot sailors and be part of a team with these people, and it was just a little multi-hull, but it's a high-performance boat, and we had a lot of success and a lot of great times.
And I guess classically then things got a little bit bigger from that, and I'm not sure I've ever come across anybody who doesn't love an Orma.
Oh, yeah.
The power and the brutality of the way they'll destroy oceans.
I think brutality is a good word for an Orma, yeah?
Yeah, they're brutal. And, you did the Trans-Tasman. Got to tell us about that. That's, it's a vicious patch of water when it's not behaving, and it does that a lot, and you destroyed the record.
Yeah, of course, Sean rang me up, and the whole angle was we want a bit more multi-hull experience. Those guys have done lots of sailing, and I sailed with him on Xena. Lots of experience, but I guess they said, come on board. We know you're going to be able to jump on the helm, be able to handle it, hopefully, and come on the record attempt. So I fly down. I'd always idolised Ormas. They're sort of the ultimate race boat, ocean, inshore, whatever. They're just an absolute beast. And I jumped on at the last minute, and we basically, of course, had lined up 4 metre seas and up to 40 knots, and you're going after a record, and the boat can cope. So, Langman and Josh and his boy Pete and Ogilvy, we all jumped on and just sent it out the heads, and it was nuts. It was awesome.
What kind of pace did you sort of?
I think the
see
numbers.
a lot?
And this is 2013, so now we have boats going around the world doing stupid numbers, and Amoka's doing over 600. But I think we did about 574 in 24 hours was our best run. Don't quote me on that, but it was up there. We did up to 39.5 knots. We never cracked 40 knots, but that was, I think I'd done 28 knots on a cat before that. And it is just a runaway freight train that somehow saves your ass every time you jump over another swell. Like at 110 degrees true, just going between 32 and 39 knots, like a freight train. Like the way that the motion in the boat moves is just in every direction, up, down, around. It's a little bit violent, but almost the faster you go, it turns into a vibration, is how I would describe it. And I don't know, it's super addictive. I still miss that opportunity. I got to do a few more things with the boat. By far the best boat I've ever sailed. It's sad that the years are getting to them and we don't have them around. I mean, the Mod 70 is an awesome boat as well, but it doesn't actually quite stack up to the Orma stats-wise. Like the Orma is an absolute beast. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Do you remember the time across the Tasman?
2 days, 19 hours and however many minutes. Like it was ridiculous. It was very cool. And Sean's a weapon, highly competitive man. always trying to beat your numbers on the helm, really interested in learning from you, but also a great sort of team leader. And I haven't got to do too much with him since, but a lot of respect there, and to go and get that difficult boat to own and do a few great things with it was really cool for Australian sailing.
Yeah, and Team Australia really shone in that time, and of course also chased down the Hobart record as well and obliterated that too. So again, I think that just highlights, as you've said, just how much you look at an Orma 60 and you just go, rocket ship.
Absolute beast. Yeah.
So you weren't busy enough around that 2013, 2014 with all the professional sailing gigs. You thought you might have a crack at designing and building your own boat as well?
Yeah.
El Toro, so Trimaran, tell us about that. That sounds fascinating.
It's fascinating and crazy.
Because there wasn't enough boats to choose from back then. You had to build your own.
I grew up in skiffs and I love helming boats. And, you end up becoming a trimming specialist, a bowman, that whole process. You don't get to helm that much, So one of the drivers was we'd won so many nationals, I kind of wanted my own platform. And although I had huge respect for the Tony Grangers and Ian Farriers and all that sort of thing, I couldn't help but think I've learned a lot about these boats and I wanted to see if we could have a go. So the bucket list was design it yourself, build it with your mates, go and try and win a national titles. And that's now achieved, But where it came from was going to these regattas around Australia, sailing on various boats, meeting people who had different skills to me, whether it be boat building or engineering, but I just tapped into every resource I could. I got better at drawing in Rhino. We developed the model of the boat. I come across a really good mate, Horry, Aaron Carl, who's my co-owner, co-designer, and we just kept evolving the boat and showing sailors of note at these regattas, what do you think? Oh, it's a bit too this, oh, it's a bit too that. And just refining it, and Aaron really helped me get that digital model to a place that I was happy with, and I didn't need the skills to really do that. He just did everything we wanted to do. And, it's not a perfect boat. There's stuff I'd change now, but it's worked out pretty good.
Sounds like it was a little bit more perfect than some of the others you were out there competing against. Lee, were you out there at the same time competing?
Very demoralising, the Nationals, having, you guys were just such a complete proposition on the race course, especially in Breeze. You and I have worked very hard on those Farrier 32s and we've got them to a place where they're very competitive now. But, it was a real class act at the Nationals and it was, we were never coming close to you.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That's the only thing I'm ever going to say about it.
So for the people that are listening that aren't sailors or boaties, so the Trimaran, why a Trimaran? What sort of led you down that pathway?
I think going back, John, to the trilogy thing, I was properly in love with Trimarans. Just the way they go to windward, the motion of the boat, they look after you. They're a little bit easier to sail, I think, than a high-performance cat. But that brings an ability to not have to have the world's best crew or, they're easier to sail in my belief and they look after you. And I just love that upwind performance.
Well, just touching on that, I think, Ben and Horry have actually been doing a few races and cruising with their kids, with the four of them. And I don't think you could do that on a high-performance catamaran. That's
the other thing. It's a multi-purpose boat. It's designed to go racing, but there's compromises in its design so that, we can go cruising, coastal cruising. We go camping with 2 swags and a big boom tent, and my son's 15 and Horry's young boy's 6 and they're water babies, so we just get out there and have fun. And we're ticking that box. It's almost more important to me than the racing side,
This is a quick ad break. And we're back.
So are you defending your national title, mate?
Still up in the air, mate. I've been telling everyone I am. I always want to support anything that's going on with Orma in Australia, and multihull racing and participation is the biggest thing we need in any sailing event. I'm not going to commit yet, mate. We've got a little bit to do to get there. So we're looking for sponsors too, mate, you know.
What are you looking at me for?
You can generate them. Yeah, look, hopefully they're going to do the next Nationals down at Geelong Week. We've done them there before. It's an awesome place to have an event.
Usually a good breeze to work with there, solid,
Breeze,
reliable.
a bit of flat water is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have our boat there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I remember 50 knots down there in flat water, though, luckily coming out of the northwest. But it's a great location, Geelong.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I guess it's really interesting because we talk about the Orma 60 in such revered ways, but the old team, I mean, wow, and certainly the latest generations of them, and, you know, blast across the Pacific at 29 knots, on your own. I mean, anybody who's not a multi-hull fan needs to get in and settle in and look at this sort of thing because they're really great, aren't they? And the old teams are just spectacular.
Yeah, we have seen, you know, as multi-hull sailors, we're kind of off on left field a little bit, but we're seeing a number of platforms like old teams, the French sailing in general, Sail GP, America's Cup, boats that have used multi-hulls really bringing the interest level to sailors across all platforms, you know, yacht sailors, dinghy sailors, and the old teams are the pinnacle of engineering. They're an amazing beast. You know, I can't quite get my head around how you can go around the world at the speed they do.
Well, I think the single-handed speed record is something like 27.5 knot average or 28 knot average for Francois, single-handed around the world on an old team.
Yeah, yeah. And the Pacific, the biggest ocean of the lot, at 29. Bang.
Yeah,
That's a way to cover some distance.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Hey, listen, Dorothy Dix, thanks for the F50 comment in there. You got stitched up pretty well on the soft sail with the F50 over a rigid wing. Can we have a bit of a chat about the people that have commented to you publicly and not so publicly about all of that?
Yeah, plenty to learn on the media front. You know, you get nailed with a question with a camera in your face and you have a go. I mean, I'm trying to remember what the question was. What do you think about all the failures in F50 sailing with the wings, and should they go to soft sail?
I mean, there's been more since then.
Of course, yeah, there's been some pretty big crashes, which of course is awesome from, like, you know, excitement levels and everything like that, but must be frustrating, particularly the kind of failures that aren't even in the heat of battle, you know, getting ready for events. It must be hard for the sailors and the teams, but it is the pinnacle. It's like the F1 of sailing at the moment. In terms of competition, there's going to be failures. You know, I sell soft sails, so I'm totally keen for them to get soft sails. But, you know, I think that it's an interesting question. I don't know that it's necessarily that easy to say you can put a soft sail on an F50 that's not engineered for those sorts of traveller loads, and there's all sorts of spin-offs. But, you know, North Sails would definitely be happy to sell them some soft sails for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, no problem. And, you know, very small percentage loss. 2, 5, 10, I don't know. It's not my department.
But they are an excitement machine, and clearly anything that continues to bring multis, whether that's 2 or 3 lumps of sugar, has got to be a good thing. Great thing.
I love what Sail GP's done. I love watching it. I really like it when non-sailors bring it up, and they do. Like, it is...
It's their biggest market.
Yeah, it's capturing...
It's their biggest market, not sailors.
Anyone
non-sailors.
who's into anything extreme, speed, like, they get it, you know, and so the platform's been great. I love watching it and wish it all the best. Yeah.
Thanks again, Ben Kelly, multiple multi-hull national champion and North Sails multi-hull specialist for Asia Pacific region and global. Thanks again for your time, mate. Much appreciated.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
Thanks again for watching Bulwarks and Bulldust. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, send us your feedback, send us any questions you have. We'll see you next time on the show. We've had a great time catching up with Ben Kelly, North Sails Asia Pacific multi-hull specialist. Thanks for coming on the show, Benny. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
mate.
your time.
Awesome.
See you next time. See you next time on Bulldust and Bulldust.